Hey, it's MK, and I am playing along with Scraptember's prompt for today, and it is playing with a new supply. So I've got 12 photos here that I would like to put on a layout. I'm not really sure if I get all 12 because I think later down the road I find out that I have a couple duplicates. But for me, my new supply is this Moonlight Garden collection, and I have the Moonlight Garden ephemera bits. I also have the Moonlight Garden film strip frames. I love these frames, you guys. I also have the Moonlight Garden chipboard bits set. So just a cute little collection of my favorite colors, green, blue, and brown. I also have Simple Stories. I think this one is the Essentials. Yes, Simple Vintage Essentials alphas. They're white on one side and black on the other. I plan on using the white side. I also have the Moonlit Garden Cluster Kit. I have been saving this collection for my Alaska trip because I felt like the colors were really for the Alaskan adventure. I've got the Moonlight Garden laser cut collection or laser cut elements. Yes, it's not a collection. It's all the elements. And then I won't be using this transfer sheet for the idea because I feel like I'm going to have too many photos on the layout. So I'm going to just go ahead and set that off to the side. And then I have the Moonlit Garden foundation pack where there's 2 each of each design. Now I did not get any of the actual papers. I only chose to get these cardstocks. And of course, I'm pretty much going to use most of them all on one layout. I realized I needed to do a double. I don't have any extra papers or anything else for this Moonlit Garden. I really wanted to build a collection or a kit from the colors in this collection using what I already had, and this was going to be my main foundation, if that makes any sense. I'm not ready to put a kit together for the Alaskan cruise, but I have been playing around with a bunch of what are they called? I've been playing around with a bunch of photos so far. I've made quite a few layouts from the Alaskan trip. So here, I'm not frozen, I promise. I'm just trying to decide which papers I want as my photo mats and which ones I want as my base page. And so I go with the green as my base page, and then I'm going to use this charcoal for my photos because I really felt like it brought out the wood grain in my pictures and whatnot. So I'm going to go ahead and get that going for my photo mats. And I definitely don't make you guys watch me cut all of this out. It's bad enough that I made you guys watch me spread out my photos just to see that I'm going to be 2 photo mats shy, but that's okay because I end up doing something a little bit different for for the 2 photos that are not going to be in my block grid cluster that I have. So once I get all of those done, I went and I scuffed up the edges on all of them just to give it a little bit less of a blocky feel. I definitely could have just glued all of my photos down onto that one big sheet, cut it to where I needed the seam across 2 pages be, and call it good. But I really wanted an effect. I really wanted something in between each line of the pictures, especially when the pictures were very muted. It's almost hard to see what is in each picture based off of the fact that the nails match the wood beautifully. So I really wanted each picture to stand alone, and scuffing up the edges, doing that definitely helped. So these are pictures of a map that is on the walkway when you get off the boat and you start walking down towards where you're supposed to meet your excursion place. And we walked right by it the first time, but we saw it as soon as we got back, and we were kind of just hanging out. There was other pictures I wanted to take that because our excursion was go, 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 or we're going to run out of time. I told Jason, I said, well, I really wanted to take a couple pictures on our way back to the boat of this and this and this. And then, of course, on our way, I realized that I was stepping on random nails. Like, I thought, what on earth is this? And Jason stopped at this plaque on the ground to read it. And I was fascinated by it. And I started taking pictures before I even knew what I was taking pictures of, because clearly the nails made a pattern. But you have to step back to look at what this pattern is. And this pattern is of a U.S. map. And as you can see, I took a picture of the plaque so that way I could always read it, always go back and know what it is that I'm taking or what I took pictures of. And it's made with 50,000 nails. And what I thought was pretty cool about this whole project was it says, in 2004, Juneau resident Michael Orlove created this map of the United States with the help of volunteer organizations, community members, school classes, and tourists. That is my favorite part of the whole project. It really was. Use the 500-mile concentric circles centered on Juneau to find the distance to anywhere in the U.S. So basically you could map out, where you wanted to go, map out trips, things like that in the U.S. Well, I think it's the continental U.S. I don't know if we ever found Alaska or anything like that. I do know we had a hard time trying to find Nevada. And we weren't really sure. So the picture down below that just has my husband's foot and where the tip is, it took us forever to figure out that was Florida and get our bearings from there. And so once we found out that was Florida, we kept thinking that was Alaska. And it was just a map of Alaska. And of course, I don't read well. And so it did take me a heartbeat to realize it was a U.S. map. I thought it was a map of Alaska, and I was trying to find Juneau. I was trying to find out where we were, and thinking that it was just a giant map of Alaska, when I realized that the plaque tells me what it is. And like I said, I was just so excited to see this huge project and what it was. And I was taking pictures of the international date line, where it says today, tomorrow, yesterday, and today, the magnetic north, the North Pole. I mean, all of those things I was taking pictures of before I realized what I was partially standing on. And like I said, I loved the conglomeration of what everybody was doing, to help pound 50,000 nails into this, it's not a platform, but into this dock. And it was fabulous. It really was. And so when I got back to the boat, it was kind of cool that my party, Janet and her husband and Dean or Lynn and her husband, they all noticed it. I think Janet also took a picture of it. But when I got to Lee, I was showing these pictures and whatnot, Dean and Lynn were like, yeah, we saw that. We didn't know what that was. We just, random nails in the dock, right? And whatnot. And so it was pretty cool. I loved sharing it with the friends and whatnot. And so I'm fascinated by stuff like this, you guys. I really am. It was just so cool. Well, I can't really say Alaska has a lot of cool stuff. Like, this one thing was super cool, but the whole trip in itself was super cool. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and basically create the same thing on both sides. I've got my plaque, which is basically my journaling of what it is that I am standing on and next to and taking pictures of feet, as my husband says. He says I like to take a lot of pictures of some feet. Once I have it organized over on the left page, I definitely don't make you guys watch me glue everything down, because in all reality, I just set it all down. I don't need to set it down twice, right, with adhesive on it. But this is how I like to do my layouts. Is I like to see where everything fits first before gluing things down and then regretting that it would have looked better somewhere else had I not, trial and errored it. So I'm going to set the left layout off to the side. For some reason, it's easier for me to work on the left side of a 2-page layout as a 2-page layout. But when I get to the right side, for some reason, I feel like I'm off center and I have to pull my right side layout closer to me or closer to the left. I don't know. Is that a thing? Does everybody do that? I'm not really sure. But I know for me, when it comes to a left-hand page or a right-hand page of a 2-page layout, I have to work on it all by itself. I don't know why, but that is something that I have noticed that I do. All right, I'm going to take another one of these frames and put it on top of my photo. I had to trim it down just a hair because it's not a true 4x6. And then I'm going to add it to the top of one of these layering pieces from the ephemera set. I also have these little lacy bits, and I didn't want them to look exactly the same. So I flipped my brown one over so the scallops were underneath, and I'm just using the edge. And then I have my scallops of the green one on the other side. I decided that I was going to put all of these lace things on one layout because I find that they're very hard for me to incorporate because most of my layouts aren't girly. Like they don't, not that lace is girly. This is very grungy lace. But I just find that it doesn't fit most of my layouts. So when I can find a layout where I can use all of them in one spot, I go for it. I just use up all the lace little bits. All right, I'm going to go ahead and trim off a little bit of that lace doily, or not lace, the doily corner bit. I'm going to trim that off just a little bit so I could have more of the scalloped section showing instead of where it went down into a square. It's like a doily welded into a square, and I didn't want that harsh edge of the square. Added a little bit of linen thread to this awesome tag, which says awesome. Anyways, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue down. Now I did leave this part in of the gluing because I didn't set it all out. I went ahead and I have my left as a reference of where things can go. I'm basically following that as a guide and then gluing everything down as I go. It is a lot faster to glue and go rather than lay down and then go back and glue. But for this instance, that is what I am doing. But for my first page, it's one of those where I had to see how it looked first. I do like the crossing of the two different film strips that I used. I just like the color that they bring in, and it fills in a nice little gap. I'm going to finish off this side with a little heart, a chipboard heart, and then I'm going to bring back the Simple Stories sticker sheet and see if I can't add a second heart, so that way I've got 2 hearts on each side. And then I also need to pick out a word. It takes a minute because I really wanted to use the one that says random facts, but this isn't really a random fact. It's more of a great find. And I didn't see anything that said something about finding anything. So I did little moments because, yeah, this was a little moment that for me is a big deal. So just went ahead and added that. And then I'm going to take some of this Don't Be Swayed by Shimmers and use it to splatter in and fill in some gaps where I felt like there might be, it was fine by itself, but I just felt like some of the base piece that I left was a little on the blank side. Again, it's that white space, even though it's not white. I just felt like there was a little bit too much of it. So anyways, I'm going to go ahead and finish off with the splattering. And there is my layout. I absolutely love these pictures, you guys. I really do. I love this collection as well. Those colors are truly my colors. They're a little muted, but every now and then I love using the muted colors and whatnot. And these were absolutely perfect. This whole collection was absolutely perfect for these pictures. It didn't take away from the pictures or anything. It kept it nice and soft and let the pictures shine. And it was new supplies. So I broke into brand new supplies, you guys. I think the only thing that was not brand new was the the sticker sheet from Simple Stories, and then of course my twine and my glue. I still haven't replaced my glue. All right. So anyways, don't forget to check out the playlist that I have down below for everyone else that is playing along with Scraptember and the Scrappy Sisters for the month of September. And I will check you guys all later. Bye.